Hello everyone, welcome to Lighthouse Stamping with Lorraine. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Vancouver, Washington. Thank you for joining me today. Before we get started, the housekeeping note, all the product I'm using and all the dimensions are listed below. There's a link to my online store if you wish to purchase any of these products and help support my channel. There's my email address if you have any questions. There's a link to our Facebook group. We'd love to have you join that. And finally, remember to like, share, and subscribe and help me grow in YouTube world. Yes, I have a few stamp sets in front of me, 4 to be precise. First, we have the ones from the Autumn Toile suite, Autumn Trees and Amber Autumn. This one, we are going to be using these two verses. This one, we're using the deer. This is one of my cards where I just pick and find what I want to use out of any stamp set I have. The next two stamp sets we're going to be doing is Fright Night and Gathering Moments. Gathering Moments, we are using these 4 here. And out of Fright Nights, you're saying, why Fright Nights? It's Halloween. We're using these 2 dies out of Fright Night. So, like I said, I just pulled what I wanted to make the card I wanted and get the look I wanted. So, you're saying, what are we making? Well, we have a nice deer on our envelope, and this is the front of our card. I think it's rather pretty. Our little fox paper. And then it opens this way, and it opens this way, and it stands up really nice. This is called a 2468 card. This shows off your DSP. When you have beautiful DSP and you really don't want to cover or cut anywhere, this is a great one because you can get all and see all the different pictures of the foxes in different positions. It's just a beautiful card, I think. So this is what we're going to do today, but we're going to change the paper. We're not going to do it out of this paper. So let's get started. First, what you need is, of course, we need our envelope. Pull him out. We're going to do all of our stamping first. So what I did was, out of basic black, I used black because black just, when I started holding up to this paper, I wanted to find one neutral color that worked really the best with all of them. And black seemed to make every pattern I pulled out of this pack of paper pop. So cut 3 of the large shapes from the Fright Night dies. And then you need 3 in white. I have 4 because I cut an extra one just in case I make a mistake. And another thing you will need is a piece of basic black cardstock, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so a 1/4 sheet. So let's get stamping. Now, my first question when I started looking at this, I could not decide if I wanted to. I did the sayings in Early Espresso on the last one, and I had not decided if I wanted to use Early Espresso or Mossy Meadow. So I'm going to test out Mossy Meadow and see how it looks on this piece of paper. Try it one more time. Ooh, that Mossy Meadow does look very nice. We're going to do Mossy Meadow. Sometimes I like to change things, and yes, I'm changing the color of the paper we're going to be using. So I'm going to put this right in the middle and try to get it as centered and as straight as possible. So we have a nice autumn wishes on that one. The other verse we're using is Blessed to Have You in My Life. And it's going to go on the second panel, right about here. Ooh, that's bad. Let me try that again. That is very, very crooked. That's better. Blessed to have you in my life. And that should be it for Mossy Meadow. Then we need to do some stamping. You see how crooked he was. I didn't want that crooked. So let's grab some other colors here. Let's see. I think we're going to start with crushed curry. And I pulled this oak leaf out. And I'm going to put this one in this way. And I'm going to put this one going that way. And then I'm going to grab, I think that's all of it for that one. Next, we're going to grab Pecan Pie. And we're going to put a little acorn in here. Just like that. And on the back panel, we're going to use for signing. We're not putting a lot. We're just putting a little acorn at the top because it looked a little naked. And next we need is real red. And I'm going to do you could change these colors to whatever you wanted. I'm going to put my little mushroom down here. I think he's so cute. Oh, I shouldn't have closed that pecan pie. We weren't quite done with that. And a little Blackberry Bliss. And I didn't leave this down as far. The other one I had 2 of these, but this one I'm only going to have 1 because I put my sentiment a little higher than I did on the first one. So we'll just have to put 1. And what I forgot was the deer for my envelope. I could have put a leaf, I could put an acorn, I could put anything I want on here, but he's so cute. And that is all the stamping we're going to do. So let's take all these and set them off to the side. I'm going to show you this one more time. I put this down lower on the first one, and this one I didn't. So either way, if you put it down lower, you need more room. If not, change it around. Put a different color leaf on. Okay, we'll set all those off to the side for a few minutes. Now we need to do our paper. Now this is the Autumn Toile paper. You could do this kind of card with any paper you have, but these are scenes and they just lend themselves to this style of card so well. So this is the fox paper I used, and this is the pumpkin paper that's in here, and this is trees and deer, which would be very pretty as well. But this is the pheasants and the little lakes. Well, it's one big lake with a bunch of trees and pheasants all through. But it's very pretty. And the other thing you want to do, look, is what's on the back. You don't want it clashing. Most of the time our colors, they coordinate. But if you do find one that you pull over and this had been purple and pink, it would not be the right piece of paper to use. You want something that doesn't clash with your design, because you do see the back of it. So the first thing we need to do is, of course, we are definitely directional here. So turn it so you're not cutting, you're cutting so you're in the right direction. And we are going to cut this 12 by 12 to 5 1/4. So you get 2 cards from one of these sheets. And we're going to rotate around here. And we're going to start scoring. And this is the simplest scoring in the world. It's called a 2, 4, 6, 8 card for a reason. Be careful, this is DSP. Don't push too hard. There's 2, 4, 6 is right there. Kick that out. And 8. And if you are mass producing this card, you could leave the full sheet in and then cut your strip off afterwards if you wanted. The only problem with that is you would have score lines in the middle and you still could use that strip somewhere else. But that's up to you. But you still could do that. Okay, there's our piece of paper. So the first thing we're going to do, this is the largest square here. It should be 4 inches across. Because 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 from 12 is 4. Little basic math there. Ha ha. So give that a good fold, and then we're going to flip this over and just start folding this in and giving it a really good burnish. And the last one. So it's just like that. It's that simple. Okay, so let's start gluing some pieces together. First piece is we're going to put this on here. Should have a standard border around that. Giving it a good rub. I wanted this to start. I'll leave that sit there for a few minutes. And then each of these are going to get hooked on to their black piece. Just one moment. I have to keep drinking my tea. My voice is better, but it's not totally back yet. And this one. And probably the one people are going to sign on. All right. Now, if you want more room to write, you could put another piece of DSP on the back of the card. Or just insert a letter with the card. Now, I'm not using any dimensionals on this card because this card with these layers and these 3 layers tends to be a bulky card without dimensionals. So, I don't know why I put the glue away. Okay, so this one's going to go on first, and we want to center this right here in the center of our card like that. So I'm going to flip this over this way, and we're only going to put glue on this piece here. And we're going to hold that for just a second. Okay, so that's that part. And we're going to open this up. So now we have this one here and this one here. This piece is going to go on here. And once again, we are only going to be putting glue on that 1/2 of, but I'm lining it up right on the first one. And we're only putting glue on this half that's laying on our DSP. Then take the whole card and close it. Not just that one little piece, because you could be off center when you do that. So you need to close the whole card. Okay, and then we put the last one on. This one, we're going to line it right up. Right behind there. But this time, we're putting glue all over it because it's going to stick to the back panel, and we close that. And when we open it, just like that, but you can't see the other panels behind when it's closed. But when it's open, they all stand up. Okay, now we need some bling. I brought out a couple different blings because I knew I was changing color. This one I used the streaked dots on. Could have used the Cajun ones too, but I used the streaked dots. But I think the streaked dots would be overpowering for that one. And I'm thinking these might be the better one right there. These are the low profile sparkle dots. And I think that green is going to be just beautiful on this. We only have 2 sizes, so. Okay, so let's put a big one here. And a small one, and another small one up here. So that is the card for today. You could add a bow to it, but I really did want to make much more bulk in it, and I liked it like this. I think it's just beautiful. You can see all the pheasants flying around. I think it's beautiful. And here's the first one I made with flux paper. So they're the same card, same design, did change the color. But they're the same design, but they look totally different. So let me know, do you like the Cajun one or the Mossy Meadow one? Or you just can't decide. So thank you for joining me today, and I will see you next week. Goodbye.